and welcome back to the Reapers. So it's a tactical debrief now. The mission last night, well, it wasn't really a mission, it was the tournament. It was the tournament to win the first available Tomcat module that's coming out in, well, however long it takes, a couple of months or something. Coffee ended up winning it, but we thought we'd analyse the fights anyway, because there's always a good chance to learn. There was this fight here, 3 versus 3 for the tournament, and then we had a couple of score settling 1v1s, so we'll go over them and have a quick look. So let's just set that going straight away. Stand by. So who have we got on the Blues? We've got an F-15 and a flanker and a Mirage. We've got Kill Jaden, Warren and Coffee in a Mirage. And on the Reds, Stahl, Recoil and Tender. So we might as well skip forward a bit and till we get into the action. Stand by. Right, so let's just set some guys up. Okay, the first fight here we've got, it looks like Tender. So Recoil and Stahl went over to this, what is their left flank. I'm not entirely sure what they were trying to do, but they just put themselves out of the fight a bit. So it was supposed to be teams working together, but I think obviously everyone wants to win at the end of the day, so all kinds of weird tactics start up. So Tender manages, probably locking on to Coffee, I guess. He's going. I mean, Tender's doing everything right at the moment. He's Angel's 20, which is what I always train my guys to do. He's 800 knots, which is about as fast as you can get an F-15 more or less, and he's cranking to the side by the looks of it. But he's got a bit of target fixation, so he's looking at one guy. When you do that, quite often you can't. You lose your wits about the other guys. So what he should have been doing is really coming in, staying completely unlocked. See, he's doing a lovely 40-degree crank on this guy at the moment, although he's in firing range. In fact, I'm not really sure what he's doing. Let's just pause it there. So what I would like to do, the good thing about the F-15 is a lovely radar and it's a lovely aircraft platform, very, very fast, lots of power there. So I like to come in, if possible, if there's a multiple target like this, multi-targets, stay unlocked until the very last minute. That means you can keep your wits about you and get a bit more of a tactical picture, and then this wouldn't have happened. This guy wouldn't have got round the side and you know, cut him off. So he said he's gone in and has kind of taken, well, I don't really know what he's done, but he's not done that. So, and then if you decide, you can make the decision, right, there's too many guys, or someone's getting around the side of me, then you just turn around, you buzz out a Mach 2, and then you come in again for a fresh fight. What you don't want to do is just bulldoze in here like Tender's done and get surrounded by baddies, only going to end up one way. So I don't really know what Tender's doing. He's just flown in, he doesn't appear to have locked anyone up, and now he's just being very indecisive about what he's trying to do, and he's just flying over this way now, not really achieving anything. At least he's kept his speed. That's always a good. So if you're in trouble, or if you don't know what you're doing, if you lost situational awareness like he has here, as long as you keep the speed, you've always got chance, because you can always convert that into height or manoeuvrability, or whatever you got to do. These guys, Coffee hasn't got his speed because he's climbing for a belly shot. So Coffee and Warren have gone down on the deck, literally a few hundred feet off the deck, and they've managed to avoid the gaze of the F-15. The F-15 does have a look down, shoot down radar, so it should have been able to pick them up, but I don't think Tender was sleeving his radar properly. He should be sleeving his radar up and down, and he would have picked him up and not get himself in trouble. Anyway, it looks like a kill shot from Coffee. That is a belly shot. 4 miles, that's perfectly within parameters there. That's a kill shot. And like I said, the good thing is Tender has got 800 knots on his side, so he can convert that into manoeuvrability or whatever he's got to do to beat this missile. So even though it's only a 3-mile missile, going this fast, you are almost as fast as a missile, and that missile there just never even got up to speed. It never got above kind of 450 knots, and it never even tried to track. Tender was going so fast, it never even really bothered trying to track. So that was lovely to see that. Another missile, again, perfectly good kill shot. It was 2.5 miles, but that's because of the huge speed of the F-15. He's just destroyed the missile, and a bit of turning as well. Now, tactically though, now he's got an AIM-120 on him. This is a much bigger missile than these Super 530s from the Mirage, so he's really got to work harder. Now, he's turning right. Tactically, I think, again, he's lost situational awareness. He doesn't realise where these guys are in his mind, and what he's doing is he's turning right back into them. He should have decided where they are. Easier said than done, but decided where they are, got a compass marking in his mind, and then just flown straight away from them. And then he would have beaten this missile as well, and live to fight another day effectively, but I think he's just lost the plot of where they are, and I think he just is going to circle back into them. He beat that missile out of pure power. Look, the missile was only 500 knots left when it got to him, and he's still over 700 knots. Extremely fast. Just keep heading away, you'll be perfectly safe. I always say this, just run away. So he's okay, still running away. 3 miles, more shots, and an AIM-120C at 4 miles. That is a kill shot, as we all know. Again, lots of energy in this F-15. There's lots of things he can do with this F-15, get that much energy. And look, he's scrubbed that missile now. Don't turn into it. He was on a perfectly good vector. And he's beaten those missiles again. Very good. Pure power is what's beating those missiles, not anything else. Which is great. F-15 can do that. But look how much of a jam he's put himself in with this manoeuvring. He's allowing these guys to catch him up slowly because of he's turning in front of them, and that's Heat Seeker. That's 2 miles. He's had his own shot at this guy. So all the time he was it's a bit dodgy. See, he's concentrating on fighting this guy now rather than dodging these missiles. I hate it when people do that. See, you've got one job. Do one job at a time. I see a lot of guys doing this. One job is to defeat these missiles. He's getting plenty of warnings that these missiles are coming. Well, actually, maybe not these two. These might be heat seekers, but he's probably still getting warnings from these missiles. Just concentrate on getting away from these missiles. Put all of your thought process and energy into it, into running away. Get 20 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles, 50 miles, whatever you got to do. Then turn back into combat. Don't multitask. So 50% of your energy is spent fighting these guys, and 50% is shooting at this guy. It's just not. You end up basically doing nothing if you're putting half your energy into both things. You end up just getting shot down, which I'm sure is what we're going to get seen here. And he doesn't really, I don't know what that shot was, but it probably wasn't a very good one because he wasn't really postured right for it, and he's down because he's lost his situational awareness. So, and that missile's just gone off and died. Plenty to learn from that tender attack. And these guys here, the Mirage and the F-15, they were fine. They didn't, I didn't see any errors or anything there. That's quite funny. All of Tender's missiles have just shot. Dodgy thing about that is they actually go active, so they could actually shoot something down. This one, look at that. And this guy is actually shot at one of those missiles, in fact. Anyway, that's the end of Tender. Let's carry on. What have we got going on here now? So we've got 3 reds versus 2 blues. No, hang on. No, let's try that again. No, we're missing a blue. So Tender got shot down. He was red. Right. So Jaden squiggling about. He's decided to fight these guys, and that's fine because his energy high is Angel's 14. That's okay. Recoil is pretty much identical. A little bit slow for my liking. Could be going faster than 600 knots, but it's okay. He's launched A. Let's set this up, in fact. Right, so let's analyse this fight now. So we've got 2 energy hot flankers coming in, both near optimal. Angel's 20, near enough. And we've got to miss that at 15 miles, so you can't really kill anyone with a missile at that range, but it's a posturing shot to send this guy defensive, which is done. You can see him starting to squiggle around, put countermeasures out. He's losing energy. This missile is posturing him, and but he's getting energy back now. He's going to be okay. I don't like the way he's dodging. He's not pulling many angles here. He's kind of flying straight into the missile. He realises that he hasn't done enough to beat it, so he has to put an angle in there, and he has beaten it now. Now let's pause there, and let's look at the differences there. So this missile has done its job nicely, though. It sent this guy here to a flanking position. It's burnt him down to 500 knots. So it's done everything that Recoil wanted, and Recoil has still maintained a perfect attacking posture with high energy. So it puts Recoil, that long posturing shot has put Recoil on the upper foot. It's done its job, and now Jaden's going to be in trouble because he's 6 miles away. He hasn't got time to turn into combat. All he can really do is run away or die. I get the feeling he's going to die. He's flanking, his burner's on, he's trying to get speed back in the jet, but that's a 5-mile shot from Recoil. They are an average of Angels 12. This guy is flanking / cold, so yeah, about a 5-mile shot is just on the envelope of possible, so this might be a kill, depends how Jaden reacts. He's getting a bit of turn in there. That's all kind of G. I mean, there's almost no G, 2G there. It's kind of a pussy ass defense, really. At 5 miles, you've got to be putting 9G if you want to beat these missiles, because 5 miles is a kill shot. And it does, just not aggressive enough from Jaden, and to be fair, even if Jaden had done a 9G pull and beaten that missile, he would have just been in a even worse position because the recoil always had the upper hand there. So it shows the use of that initial posturing shot to put that guy off at long range, burn his energy down, burn his confidence down, and then just start blasting at him with 5mm kill shots. Good stuff to see. Let's carry on, shall we? So what's next? Okay, and it all gets a bit messy at this point, so they're pretty close to each other. They're kind of like within 7 or 8 miles. It starts getting hard to... You're in the mix between trying to find them with radar and trying to find them with your eyes, with visual range. It all gets a little bit ugly, and we're probably going to see some merges here. So it would have been nice if Recoil could have picked Coffee up. He was in a great position to do so. Just didn't pick him up in time, if he has picked him up at all. Got Warren coming back here. So... I don't know what that missile is. It's just a mistake by the looks of it. And we have a merge. So let's go back and have a quick look at that. So we've got Recoil is merging on Coffee. It's seen him. Coffee hasn't seen anything. Let's set these guys up. So Recoil has seen it a bit late. He's just seen it now. And so he's turning for the merge, doing everything right. Have a shot now. That's a 1 mile. That's a perfect shot from behind. For some reason he's not shooting. He hasn't seen him. He hasn't seen him. He didn't see him, he was just going evasive for some reason. That's interesting. Just shows with these tight matches the mistakes you can make. Now this is an interesting shot. You've got Warren with an AIM 120. That's about 2 miles, so that can be a kill shot on Recoil here. It's a acceptable amount of time to get that warhead armed and whatnot. Just missed. Just enough done. The AIM 120 isn't particularly manoeuvrable and it's not particularly good. It can kill at 2 miles, but it's not amazing. And he's done enough wiggling and jinking and countermeasures to put it off. Bit of spraying and praying from Warren. And we've got a proper merge going on the go here. So, Warren has burnt his speed off. Not sure how he did it, but he's managed to burn his speed down to 300 knots, which is nice because it puts him squarely on the ass of Recoil. Meanwhile, Coffee has found Stahl, and he's on an intercept called Stahl. Stahl's got very high energy. That's very useful. It's all getting a bit chaotic. It's a big train of 4 now by the looks of it. The F-15 has just locked this flanker. The flanker detects it and gets countermeasures out just in case. Then we've got 2 dogfights going on the go here. Blues are in the driving seat of both. Don't really know. Why don't we just watch one at a time? Now, Warren here pulled, instead of going on a lag pursuit or a straight on pursuit, he went for a lead pursuit here, i.e. cut in front of Recoil and to go for a shot, and he's got his energy, he's got his speed up high to go and do that, and he's managed to get a hit. So, well done. That's lovely. So that was a great show of where you can go for the lead pursuit, cut in front and go for the shot if you're confident with it. And it's a really good gun on that F-15. So that was good all round. I don't know anything that the flanker could have done to get out of that. Once the F-15 was behind, it was very much behind. So let's see what happened with these guys. So Coffee's seen this guy. Stahl is very energy high. They're both energy high now. So Coffee's now got to try and merge on Stahl's path. I get the feeling that Coffee's probably guns only by now. And Stahl's put a lovely angle there, making it very hard for this Mirage to merge. And he just couldn't, he couldn't merge. Stahl put too much angle in there. Very nice. So Stahl probably knows what's going on by now. Now we're into rolling scissors. The aim now is to get behind the other hostile. And Coffee's done it. He's just, for whatever reason, he's managed to do that. But again, Stahl putting big angles in, very hard for Coffee to get behind him. Back into rolling scissors, vertical rolling scissors now. Both perfectly matched at 500 knots. Coffee still has a slight advantage, I feel. Plus Warren is here, but I don't think he really gets involved. He loses his awareness a bit. These two much more manoeuvrable than that F-15, and he's still got his fuel tanks on, which is a stupid mistake. Anyway, I've lost what happened there. So let's watch that back a little bit. So Coffee re-emerges, still kind of in scissors, and Coffee's managed to add enough travel path to his path that he's now squarely behind him. Now Stahl has gone vertical and burnt his speed off. He went down to 300 knots now, but he is gaining it back quickly. I don't know how he managed that. Coffee's followed suit, and he's squarely on his 6 now. Very hard for Stahl to get out of this now. Equally matched jets. It doesn't really have anything extra to gain. Coffee's just put a bit of lead in there. He's trying to cut in front of him to go for a shot. too much angle from Stahl though. Coffee just couldn't get enough nose angle on him. So Stahl's really working his jet there. And let's just see what kind of G-force he was doing up there. Probably not very much because he was quite slow, but so let's look now. So Stahl is 25 alpha and 6.5 G. 30, so he's really putting his, just pulled that stick back now, 33 alpha, 37 alpha, and the Mirage is kind of stalling at that. So he's had to do that because he saw Coffee taking lead and getting ready for a shot. The only thing that Stahl could do was pull even harder to destroy the closing angle between the two, essentially, and kill the shot. You saw me doing that the other day when I was fighting with Fortunero in a dogfight. So Stahl's, but to do that, he's had to burn all his speed off, and so they're going to go down to a death spiral now, getting lower and lower, burning each other's energy. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So somehow, while doing that massive dogfight, he also managed to shoot down the F-15. No idea how he did that, but he did. What a hero. So some heroic play, but has he let Coffee on his ass too much by doing that? I don't know. We're going to see. All out of energy. He's all out. He's had to do a snap again to break Coffee's lead there, and it worked. But there's only so much energy. And finally, he was just all burnt out. So at this point, he was right down to whatever. Where is he? 130 knots true airspeed. The Mirage can't really fly at that anymore. 120 knots. Everything he can, but look at the beautiful angle Coffee's got there. And Coffee's still flying, has got higher knots, 165 knots. His plane is still flying, whereas Stahl's is pretty much departed. And so he was all out of energy. And once you're out of energy, you can't do anything. You just sit and float and wait to get shot. Great fight there. Lovely stuff going on. Great to watch. Right, that's that. Now, next up, I think it's me and Fortunero. Stand by. Right, so this time I've got Cap and Fortunero settling some old scores. Why don't we go back a little bit further? So we're both BVR guys, so we specialise in this kind of long-range shooting. So we both should have our tactics absolutely pinned down. So Cap's coming in, again it was 700 knots, Angels 20, that's my preferred fighting style. It's optimal for these heavy air superiority jets. Fortunero exactly the same, Angels 20, 700 knots. Cap's got a tiny speed advantage, so that gives me a tiny advantage with my missile firing ability. We've both got a 40-degree crank on, so if you draw a line between the two, that's where that green line is, splay out 40 degrees. He's splayed out 40 degrees that way, I've splayed out 40 degrees that way. I've done a whole video on this, teaching how to do this. It gives us optimal protection, essentially, from the other guy. So if I'm travelling like that, and he's going to fire a missile at me from there, the missile won't travel towards me along the green line. It has to bend and curve out in front of me in my predicted crank line out here, and it essentially kills that missile off. So essentially it makes me kind of invulnerable. As cranking makes you invulnerable, do it right. Don't just crank at anything. Crank at 40 degrees to the left or right, in comparison to where that guy's going. Right, speeds are good. Cap's up to 750 knots. Fortunero's up to 700 knots. Everyone's doing everything right. See, Fortunero's getting a little bit of height, a little bit cheeky. I'm never really convinced that helps, but real fighter pilots say it does help, so maybe it does. Now, Cap's pulling away now. The superiority of the F-15 is starting to show its wings and legs now. I'm an extra 80 knots of speed. And that 80 knots is an extra 80 knots of energy, in kinetic energy in my bird that I can convert into stuff, either altitude or maneuverability or whatever. So we've got the first shot out. It's a 20-mile shot from Fortunero. It's going to be an R-27 Echo Romeo, I suppose. So it's a radar-guided missile. Yes, it is. We both know there's no way that that's going to hit me. We both know I'm going to dodge that. It's purely a posturing shot. So its job is purely to panic me, because my radar warning receiver warns me that missile has been fired. So if I was a noob, I would be panicked and I would start burning off my energy and countermeasuring and avoiding and stuff. But because I'm not a noob, I don't. I just carry on my predicted, pre-calculated crank path of 40 degrees. And I know that if I carry on at this crank path, that missile cannot hit me. It doesn't have enough energy. It goes up to 2,400 knots there, you see. But it still can't hit me. My crank makes me invulnerable. So I stick to the rules, I stick to the crank. I'm sticking also max speed, I'm still 820 knots, and time to turn in. So, you'll remember from the videos that I've done, cheeky little ER there from Fortunero, very cheeky. So he's really going all out here. I always say one missile per engagement. Fortunero's going multiple missiles, but that's fair enough. That's so Cap, if you remember my videos that I've done about F-15 aerial optimal engagement, Technique, well, I want to turn it at 13 miles, which I'm doing here. You can see 13 miles. I want to plateau level on him at about 10 miles and fire the shot at 10 miles. That's optimum for Angel's 20, although I notice he's started losing altitude here. I didn't know that at the time, and that's probably going to be why my missile misses. If he was up at Angel's 20, should still be dead at a 10-mile shot. So I think he knew exactly when I was going to fire, and he predicted accordingly. So I've cranked. I'm now leveling. I'm looking at my distance. 10 miles. Look how close that was. 2 miles out. Absolute perfection. Now, I didn't realise he was cranking at the time. I thought he was still head on Angel's 20, in which case 10 miles would have been a assured kill shot. But he's getting ahead of the game here. He's starting to manoeuvre, he's starting to flank, so it's already starting to predict my missile and burn its energy off. So it's very good decision making from him. My missile's out. I haven't had to worry about these at all. I haven't done any pre-manoeuvring. It's all calculated in my everything I've done in my crank, in my turning, in my speed. It all assures me no missiles in the world can get me, basically. None can travel fast enough. And my missile is out, 10 miles. That should be a kill shot against anyone apart from Fortunero, and look at that, another shot. So he's really, really, really wants to kill me. I don't recommend those shots. I always say 1 missile per engagement, and the reason is, if that missile's not going to kill me, chances are that one's not going to kill me. If that one's not going to kill me, the chances are that one's not going to kill me. Because, you know, I'm an experienced BVR fighter. These, I think, are wasted missiles. However, he does have missiles to burn. He has like 10 missiles on that bird, I think. And actually losing missiles makes him lighter and more manoeuvrable. So that's, I think, his thinking. Just shed some of the weight, and you never know, one might hit me. Anyway, let's follow my missile. It's a fast, lovely, powerful AIM-9 Charlie, and he's got work to do to beat this still. Yeah. Who's going to beat it, and the only reason he beat it is because he predicted, he knew when I was going to fire, and so he got that manoeuvring done ahead of time. And there was nothing I could do apart from run away at that point. That's my only way of beating those missiles, unless I'm some kind of super maverick, which I'm not. And he's successfully beaten this AIM-9 Charlie. AIM-9 Charlie is a good missile, but can't do miracles, and so he's beating it. And let's just have a quick look at me and what I did to avoid those missiles. So stand by. So I got my missile away, and then I want to go into a lovely big left split S. So let's have a look at my data here. There, and you just saw that there. I always say, if you're going to do something, do it 100%. Don't do it half-assed like we saw in a lot of the previous fights. You've got to do everything 100%. Otherwise, you're not using your jet to its maximum capability, and you might as well just not bother. So stand by. I'm going to try and catch this. There. Look at that. 9.5 Gs I'm pulling there, so that's enough to put my pilot out of commission completely, basically. But you've got to get that high G if you want to use this tactic to beat those missiles. 8G won't do, 7G won't do, 6G won't do. You've got to pull the full and comfortable G. And you can see it's starting to burn my speed right off now, and G's coming off now. I'm safe. Alpha's right back down to a lovely sustainable 10 degrees. So now, I can only tell you from my point of view, I can't tell you what Fortnero is thinking. My point of view is now, get away. And I always say this, you always hear me say this every single debrief. There's no need to turn back in and waste your life like the other guys do. Run away. The safest thing to do, run away, use those Pratt & Whitneys, get to 800 knots, calm down, calm the heart rate down, then turn in and recommit to a new fight. It's the best thing you can do. And Fortnero, I mean, he's a bit more of an aggressive driver than me, so he's coming after him by the looks of it. But essentially, what I'm saying is the right thing to do. So, I'm going to go off, I'm going to calm down, I'm going to use the speed. The F-15 is the fastest thing in the air, apart from maybe a... Well, for fighting, BVR, it is probably the fastest thing ever built. So, use it for what it's good for. Fortnero's come round, he's made a bit of an error, he's trying to find me, but when I'm cold, it's quite hard to find a cold jet. With the radar, they don't give very good radar signatures back, and they mess around with the PRF, with the frequency as well. So he's struggling to find me. I think he's finally found me. He's on vector to me now. Now look at that. I went all the way back out there. How much? If that's 17 miles, then that is about 10, 11, 12 miles I've gone out. I mean, even that's a little bit close. I like to go at 20, but I decided that's based on his radar. In my warning receiver, that's enough. So. And I've kept over 600 knots all the way. I've kept more energy than Fortnero has. So I've set myself up for a beautiful second re-engagement. Plenty of time, at 15 miles, plenty of time for me to find him on my radar, which I'm doing now, giving myself all that time. Now, he's trying to spook. Now, look at this tactic. He knows very well there's no way he's going to kill me at 13, 14 miles, wherever he fired that. It's another posturing shot. He thinks I'm going to panic with that shot, and who knows, maybe I will this time. Let's just see. But the good thing is we've kept our energy. I've kept 700 knots, which gives me a really good advantage. Okay, so he's done his nasty little trick. He's done his ER, and he's done it just purely to mask his ET. His ET is a Fox 2. Doesn't give me any radar warning. This one does. So what he's thinking is, I'm going to try and beat this, and then get shot down by this. It's a little tactic the flanker drivers do. There's something in their repertoire. I very much doubt I'm going to fall for it. So let's see, and what a shot have I done? I've panicked here. Now, I don't like to see me doing this kind of thing. I fired at 12 miles. Why have I fired at 12 miles? Nothing really. All I can do is do posturing shot, and I don't like doing posturing shots. I find them pointless. So I find what I've probably done here is he's fired on me. I know I can't beat that missile and still do a proper attack. So what I've done is I've said, right, shit, what have I got to do here? I've got to put him defensive so that I can run away again and do a new re-engagement from scratch on my terms. Anything else I can do will lose. If I try and skirmish and dodge that missile and then come in and do an attack, I'm probably going to die, or I'm going to lose for so much energy, I'm going to be ineffective. So what I've said here is, okay, I'm in trouble. Fire this missile to send him defensive so I can turn around, go away, and recommit back on my terms. And let's see what we're doing. And I've done another one. I don't know, there was no reason to do another one at 10 miles. 10 miles down here at these angels is a waste of a shot, and I shouldn't be wasting AMRAAMs, so a little bit silly. So yeah, that's just panic fire. And let's have a look what I've had to do. So neither of us is pulling 9Gs, we're both on 5G. We know that we can easily beat this missile, so we don't have to burn off too much of our energy. Fortinero has done an easy split S there with plenty of countermeasures. I've done exactly the same split S with plenty of countermeasures. We've both managed to keep over 600 knots. We've both done everything absolutely perfectly, essentially, and we've both neutralised all of these missiles. Fortinero has gone all the way round and come back on and to re-engage me, but he's got himself in trouble because, although I shouldn't have fired that second missile, the second missile has come in handy now. Because I fired it late, it's now turned on its pitbull radar, and when Fortinero came to chase me, it's warning him that it's coming in. Now Fortinero doesn't know, he can't see that missile, he just knows it's giving him a warning, so he's in danger. The only thing he can do is turn away again. So that second missile I fired did its job in the end of the day by turning him back around. And that's what I want to do. I've got a big hand here and I'm pushing him out. Pushing him away. The F-15 always wants to push a hostile away, and so it can run away like I've done here with its massive power and speed, so I can turn in and recommit on my terms where I've got the most effective jet. So Fortinero has now beaten the second missile. He's now coming to get me, but I've got my 20 miles distance, like I said, my 20 miles distance, and that's increasing because look, I'm above 700 knots now. Fortinero's got himself in a bit of a panic here. When you see someone spinning around in circles like that, it means that that's pure indecision. He's not sure what to do. Is he coming after me? Is he going that way? What's he going to do? So he's got some indecision going on there, which is lovely to see from such an experienced guy. Look, I've decided that I've got my 20 miles. I'm happy with that. Look how beautiful a long track that is. No snaking, no pissing about. Perfect turn, 180 turn there. Absolutely, everything's perfect. I've building my energy back up. I want to get to 700 knots again at Angels 7. Now you'll notice as this VVR fight goes, we'll slowly start off at Angels 20 and we'll build ourselves down and down and down and down and down. You could ask, do you want to go up again to Angels 20? Not really. The fight is down here now. I really want to be matching his altitude. He wants to be matching my altitude. Going up, really, if anything, just loses you energy, puts you out of the fight. So the fight is down here, and you can see how equally kind of matched we are. We're both at the same height. Fortinero's made a cock up. You can see after his indecision, he's panicked and he's done a snap turn back in after I've turned my radar in, but he's burnt his energy off, put himself at a huge disadvantage now. So this is Cap's game to win now. I've got the energy, I've got the speed, I've got the aggressive stance. I should be able to win, but I fucked up. I got my bearings wrong. I memorised his bearing somewhere over there, and look, I'm heading away. No, scratch that. I'm cranking. I'm doing it absolutely perfectly. I'm on a 40 degrees left crank. This is perfect. So this is a real masterclass. I love this. I've seen it as Angels 8. I want to match up perfectly to help my computation of firing range. So I've got myself up to Angels 8 as well. He's annoyingly got himself up to Angel 700 knots really quickly. That's annoying. I would have hoped to put him off more. I've said now, so I'm doing the computation in my head when I'm going here. I won't be talking, I'll be thinking. Angels 8, 2 hot targets, both 700-ish knots. I can see his speed on my radar. When do I want to fire? Well, if I do the interpolation from Angels 20, to hot targets being a 10-mile shot, this is going to be approximately a 7.5 to 8-mile shot to be a kill shot with an AIM-120C. So I want to turn in at 10, fire at 8. Let's see how I do. No, I'm too late. Left it too late. I turned in at 8. I should have fired by now. I've put myself in danger. So my computation was slightly off, or my execution was off. I think I'm just firing now. Look, I fired at 6 miles. Pretty sure I fired. Yep, I fired at 6 miles. I should have been firing at 7.5. Why is that so important? Don't you think it should be closer in would be a better shot? Yes, but it puts me in danger. I could have been out here and I would have had much more room to maneuver. So a slight error there. 1 second of travel time. I've gone too far. I've put the numbers out of kilter and I'm going to pay for it. Now the annoying thing is he's sent another kill shot out. I didn't realise he had another kill missile. It's an ET, it doesn't give a warning. It's up to me to spot that, and you can already see it's pretty much too late for me to dodge that. I was just too close. He's done a perfect peel away because he's got a warning from my missile. He's going to do a 9G turn. You see he's already up at 8.2G, so he's doing 100% turn to beat my missiles. I'm not doing enough turn. I've now just seen it. I've gone, shit, he's fired an ET at me, but look how close that missile is. It's high energy, nearly 2,000 knot missile. I've turned too late. I mean, it's not a bad turn by me. I'm up at nearly 9G. I've got plenty of flares going out. In another trial, in another match, that I might have dodged that, but it was just half a second too late, and pow. And F-14 has got away just about. Only just, though. Look how close they were. He's driven it into the sea. He pointed his nose down. He converted his Angels 8 down to Angels nothing, and he's driven these missiles into the sea. So that was perfect missile dodging going on there. So, I hope you enjoyed that. That was how I like to see a BVR fight being done. No one did anything stupid. The only tiny error was Cap's tiny little calculation error at the end. Otherwise, they would have just gone on. And if you get 2 BVR fighters like this, so experienced BVR fighters doing their techniques, they'll just keep going at it and at it and at it like that until they're out of missiles and they RTB, or they go guns, guns, guns. And that's how you want to. When you see that, that's how you know these guys are doing it right. So yep. Really, really good shot, and you can see these lovely straight paths. It's lovely to see these good straight in control paths going on. So you can see come out there, back in there, out there, back in there, just butting heads and butting heads and butting heads until someone forces the error. So that's, I think, absolute perfection. So that's great. I'm glad we did this debrief. Next is Squiddle and Recoil. So that's I'm not sure we've got enough. Oh, that's a shame. Unfortunately, it's cut the end of the attack view file off. It does this sometimes, so we're not going to see it. I don't think it was actually a very good fight at all. I don't think Recoil ever really got into the fight, to be honest, so not too bothering. But there you go. Pretty cool, huh? Yep. So we'll see you later.